The American Revolution stands as a pivotal moment in history, shaping the course of nations and influencing the world as we know it today. However, what if the revolution had failed and the 13 colonies remained under British control? The consequences of such a scenario would have been profound, altering the trajectory of American and global history in significant ways. The significance of the American Revolution in shaping history cannot be overstated. It marked the birth of a new nation founded on principles of liberty, democracy, and self-governance. The Declaration of Independence, with its assertion that all men are created equal and endowed with unalienable rights, laid the groundwork for modern democratic societies around the world. The revolution inspired other independence movements and revolutions, serving as a beacon of hope for oppressed peoples seeking freedom from colonial rule. Key events leading to the potential failure of the American Revolution were numerous and complex. From the initial resistance to British taxation policies, such as the Stamp Act and the Tea Act, to the outbreak of armed conflict at Lexington and Concord, the road to independence was fraught with challenges. The lack of unity among the colonies, internal divisions, and military setbacks threatened to derail the revolution at various points. Had the Continental Army been defeated or the colonial leadership fractured, the dream of American independence could have been crushed. The impact of the 13 colonies remaining under British rule would have been far-reaching. Without independence, the United States as we know it today would not exist. The principles of freedom, democracy, and individual rights that form the foundation of American society would have been stifled under British colonial control. The economic, social, and political development of the nation would have taken a vastly different course, with implications for generations to come. On a global scale, the failure of the American Revolution would have altered the balance of power and geopolitics. The British Empire, already the dominant force in the world at the time, would have retained control over a vast and resource-rich territory in North America. The ripple effects of this outcome would have been felt across Europe, Asia, and beyond, shaping alliances, conflicts, and trade relationships in unforeseen ways. In conclusion, the American Revolution's success was a turning point in history, setting the stage for the emergence of the United States as a beacon of freedom and democracy. The potential failure of the revolution and the 13 colonies remaining under British rule would have had profound consequences for American and global history, underscoring the enduring significance of this pivotal moment in time. Pre-revolutionary tensions. The tensions and grievances that ultimately led to the American Revolution were deeply rooted in the relationship between the 13 colonies and the British Crown. One of the primary issues that fueled discontent among the colonists was taxation without representation. The British Parliament imposed a series of taxes on the colonies, such as the Stamp Act and the Townshend Acts, without giving the colonists a voice in the legislative process. This lack of representation in decision-making sparked outrage among the colonists, who viewed it as a violation of their rights as British subjects. In addition to taxation without representation, the colonists had a host of other grievances against British rule. Restrictions on trade, the presence of British troops in the colonies, and the enforcement of unpopular laws all contributed to a growing sense of resentment and defiance. The colonists felt that their freedoms and liberties were being infringed upon by a distant and unresponsive government, leading to calls for independence and self-determination. Key figures like Samuel Adams and Patrick Henry played crucial roles in stoking revolutionary sentiments and mobilizing support for the cause of independence. Adams, a skilled propagandist and organizer, used his influence to rally colonists against British policies and to promote the idea of resistance. Henry, known for his fiery speeches and impassioned rhetoric, galvanized public opinion and inspired acts of defiance against British authority. These leaders helped to channel the frustrations of the colonists into a unified movement for independence. To prevent the failure of the American Revolution, alternative scenarios could have been explored where British policies were adjusted to appease the colonists. For example, greater representation for the colonies in Parliament could have been granted, allowing them to have a voice in decisions that directly affected their lives. Repealing or revising the most contentious taxes, such as the Stamp Act, could have helped to diffuse tensions and build trust between the colonies and the mother country. Furthermore, a more conciliatory approach to governance, with a greater emphasis on dialogue and compromise, could have averted the descent into armed conflict. By addressing the grievances of the colonists in a timely and respectful manner, the British government might have been able to preserve the unity of the empire and prevent the fracturing that ultimately led to the American Revolution. In conclusion, the pre-revolutionary tensions that culminated in the American Revolution were driven by a complex interplay of factors, including taxation without representation, grievances against British rule, and the actions of key revolutionary figures. By examining these tensions and considering alternative scenarios where British policies were adjusted to address the colonists' concerns, we gain insight into the possibilities for a different outcome, one where the revolution could have been averted and the course of history altered in profound ways. British military strength. During the late 18th century, the British Empire boasted one of the most formidable military forces in the world, comprising a powerful army and navy that projected strength across the globe. The British Army, well-trained and disciplined, numbered around 48,000 troops at the outbreak of the American Revolution, with the ability to draw upon additional forces from Britain and its vast network of colonies. The Royal Navy, unrivaled in its dominance of the seas, controlled a fleet of warships that ensured British naval supremacy and facilitated the transportation of troops and supplies to distant theaters of war. In contrast, the Continental Army, formed by the colonies to resist British rule, faced significant challenges in matching up to the might of the British forces. The American revolutionaries lacked a centralized command structure, experienced shortages of weapons and supplies, and struggled to recruit and train a professional army capable of standing toe-to-toe with the British. Despite the courage and determination of the Continental soldiers, they were often outmatched in terms of training, equipment, and resources. The British military's overwhelming strength posed a formidable obstacle to the success of the American Revolution. If the revolution had not succeeded, the British Empire could have employed a range of strategies to maintain control over the colonies and suppress any further rebellions. One potential approach would have been to increase the deployment of troops to the colonies, reinforcing garrisons and establishing a more visible presence to deter dissent and insurrection. By demonstrating their military superiority and quelling resistance through force, the British could have sought to maintain control over the restive colonies. Another strategy the British could have employed to maintain control over the colonies was to implement a policy of divide and rule, exploiting internal divisions and rivalries among the colonists to weaken their unity and resistance. By playing different factions against each other and offering concessions to select groups, the British could have undermined the solidarity of the revolutionary movement and sowed discord among its leaders. This divide-and-conquer approach, combined with targeted military actions and punitive measures, could have helped the British to retain control over the colonies and prevent the spread of rebellion. In conclusion, the British Empire's military strength during the late 18th century was a formidable force that posed a significant challenge to the success of the American Revolution. If the revolution had not succeeded, the British could have employed various strategies to maintain control over the colonies, leveraging their military superiority and exploiting divisions among the colonists to suppress dissent and rebellion. The outcome of the revolution hinged on a complex interplay of military capabilities, strategic decisions, and the resilience of the revolutionary cause. Global implications. The failure of the American Revolution would have had far-reaching implications for global geopolitics, trade, and the trajectory of future revolutions. The ripple effects of such an outcome would have reverberated across continents, shaping the course of history in profound ways and altering the balance of power in the world. One significant impact of the American Revolution's failure would have been on other European colonies and their quests for independence. The success of the revolution inspired and emboldened independence movements in Latin America, Africa, and Asia, as oppressed peoples looked to the United States as a model of liberation from colonial rule. Had the revolution failed, the momentum for independence in other European colonies may have been dampened, delaying or altering the course of their struggles for self-determination. The economic consequences of the 13 colonies remaining under British rule would have been substantial. The colonies were a vital source of raw materials, agricultural products, and trade for the British Empire, contributing significantly to its economic prosperity. Without the loss of the colonies, Britain would have retained access to valuable resources and markets, bolstering its economic strength and global influence. The absence of an independent United States could have reshaped global trade patterns and economic relationships, impacting the development of industries, markets, and alliances around the world. The failure of the American Revolution to establish a new nation founded on principles of liberty and democracy would have altered the course of world history in profound ways. The United States, as a beacon of freedom and democracy, has played a pivotal role in shaping international norms, institutions, and values. Without the successful revolution, the spread of democratic ideals and the promotion of human rights may have been hindered, affecting the evolution of political systems and governance structures globally. Furthermore, the absence of a successful revolution in America could have altered the balance of power among European nations and influenced the dynamics of conflicts and alliances in the years to come. The emergence of the United States as a major player on the world stage, with its economic, military, and ideological influence, has had a lasting impact on global politics and diplomacy. The failure of the revolution would have reshaped the geopolitical landscape, potentially leading to different power dynamics, rivalries, and alliances among nations. In conclusion, the failure of the American Revolution would have had profound implications for global history, affecting the aspirations of other colonies for independence, reshaping economic relationships, and altering the course of world events. The success of the revolution not only established the United States as a beacon of freedom and democracy, but also set in motion a series of transformations that continue to resonate in the modern world. Conclusion. In exploring the scenario of the American Revolution failing and the consequences of the 13 colonies remaining under British control, we have delved into a pivotal moment in history that could have reshaped the course of nations and influenced the world in profound ways. The potential outcomes of such a scenario underscore the significance of historical events in shaping the present and the lasting effects they can have on American and global history. Throughout this discussion, we have examined the significance of the American Revolution in shaping history, from its role in establishing principles of liberty and democracy to its impact on inspiring independence movements around the world. We have explored the tensions and grievances that led to the revolution, the military capabilities of the British Empire, and the global implications of the revolution's success or failure. By considering alternative scenarios and potential strategies, we have gained insight into how different historical outcomes could have altered the course of American and global history. Understanding the impact of historical events on shaping the present is crucial for gaining a deeper appreciation of the complexities of the world we inhabit today. The American Revolution, with its triumph of independence and the birth of a new nation, has left a lasting legacy that continues to resonate in the values, institutions, and identity of the United States. The lessons learned from this pivotal moment in history remind us of the enduring importance of freedom, democracy, and self-determination in shaping societies and guiding the course of human progress. As we reflect on how different historical outcomes could have changed the world we live in today, we are reminded of the fragility of history and the pivotal moments that have shaped our collective destiny. The American Revolution stands as a testament to the power of individuals and nations to challenge oppression, seek justice, and forge a path towards a better future. By considering the what-ifs and alternative possibilities of history, we are encouraged to appreciate the complexities of the past and the opportunities for change and progress that lie ahead. In conclusion, the potential outcomes of the American Revolution failing highlight the enduring impact of historical events on American and global history. By reflecting on the key points discussed in this video, we are reminded of the importance of understanding the past in shaping the present and inspiring us to imagine a world where different choices and outcomes could have changed the course of history.